Do you know what I love even more than pro wrestling? That's right, all the news surrounding pro wrestling. And God, what a week it's been for pro wrestling news, and that means more work for me, but it's all good because I love it. You love it, I love it, we all love it. This is the fast count, let's go. Yes. First, you know where we start. We start with all of this week's WWE news, and the first item of news is, of course, the news of a former World Heavyweight Champion asking for his own release. Now, the intriguing part of this story is that Jack Swagger broke the news himself. He called Chael Sonnen's podcast and explained that he'd asked WWE to grant him his release. At the time of recording, he hasn't officially been released yet, but he's already got his first independent date confirmed in Norwich in the UK for WAW. And it looks like more independent bookings will only follow. Dave Meltzer also speculated that he might try to get into MMA, specifically Bellator. Before all sorts of details on this story, check my video from just the other day on this very channel. And all there really is left to say is it's a shame to see Jack go. He has been in WWE for almost 11 years now, and he hasn't really been utilised properly in the past few. But, you know, we'll always have quite fond memories of him. And he was always a pretty solid wrestler, and hopefully he flourishes on the indie scene. Alan Pacitti, everyone. Woo! Get in, come on.
Get in.
Get in here. Second bit of news. He's not sorry. Just pretend it.
Bye.
Bye. Obviously, we now move on to our second bit of news after that interruption. XPac has spoken on the Backstage controversy when The Rock took to the ring after Monday Night Raw and left CM Punk a voicemail. This is word for word what XPac or Sean Waltman or the 123 Kid or Six-Pack or Six, this is what he said. Obviously there was controversy over The Rock calling CM Punk. I was up in the gorilla position when this all was going down, when all that was going down. I'm not going to say who was on the headset saying cut his mic, cut his mic. Doesn't he realise we're in a lawsuit with this guy? But nobody was, so he's not going to say who that was. My guess is Vince McMahon. Doesn't he realise we're in a lawsuit with this guy? But nobody was really like mad. It was just like, come on. It was one of those things. Good reporting from XPac there. Maybe he'll be a guest on the Fast Count in the future. Oh no, we don't have any weed. And finally, let's go down to NXT, where one of the NXT superstars is apparently set to make a jump from NXT to the main roster. This will spoil tapings of NXT that haven't yet occurred, but don't worry, it's not like Nakamura or anyone. It's not a big guy. If you want to really skip this spoiler, you can, but it's not that big. It's not a big. I'm going to say it in 3, 2, 1 and just, you know, skip ahead. It's Elias Samson, right? I didn't even say 3, 2, 1. Elias Samson probably will be moving to the main roster because he lost a loser leaves town match. I won't say who against, I'll keep that fresh, but it's Elias Samson. I'm really sorry, I don't normally spoil things that haven't yet aired on Fast Count, but at the same time, it's the drifter, innit? Hopefully, you know what, in all seriousness, hopefully his gimmick is reinvigorated for the main roster, as so many NXT gimmicks have been, poor Tyler Breeze. Now, it's time for all the news from elsewhere in the world of wrestling, and what a week it's been, man, for elsewhere in the world of wrestling. Phil, what do you make of it?
It's been a big week.
Just give me something once, man. You never... It has been a big week. Phil's obviously been not giving a shit about it, but it has been big. Let's start off with the news from TNA. Sorry, misspoke there. Impact Wrestling. That's right, TNA is no longer TNA, it is now Impact Wrestling. Impact, feel that impact, wow. At least they're not called, you know, tits and arse wrestling anymore. But the big news here is that a former WWE champion made his debut at the tapings just yesterday, and I can reveal, and I won't reveal what they did, because I don't really want to spoil that, it is quite big news, but what I can reveal, is their identity, and guess what? It was Bob Backlund. No, I'm joking. It was Alberto Del Rio, or Alberto El Patron, as he goes by on the independent scene. This is really big news. It could be sort of the first steps that Impact Wrestling, now you said TNA, could be the first steps that Impact Wrestling are taking to remedy some of those big losses that they also suffered this week and last, such as Drew Galloway, both the Hardy Boys, Maria, and Mike Bennett. But if they're going to bring in guys of Del Rio, El Patron's character, you know what, it is looking fairly hopeful for them. We'll see how this goes. And this is big news also regarding Impact Wrestling. JR, none other than JR, one of the greatest announcers ever, of course, he's teased that he might be joining Impact Wrestling as well. He tweeted saying, great work, new direction for Impact Wrestling, blah, 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 Maybe also we'll see a change of soundtrack. The soundtrack to wrestling, of course, being the commentary. JR being a commentator. You see where he's going with this. Unless he's pulling one of them swerves, that would be huge seeing JR in Impact Wrestling, especially because they've always been WWE's main competition. And it also makes sense because Josh Matthews has just been ruffling feathers left, right, and centre. And I watched some highlights from yesterday's Impact Wrestling, and Josh, man, he just always tries to get himself over. He's like, oh no, well, you can't be serious. Oh, f off, you prick. He's going to come at me on Twitter now, isn't he? Probably not. Probably doesn't know who I am. But I know who you are, Josh. You're that little weed off Tough Enough. I say little weed, he's probably like my height. Just because he stands next to big wrestler men all the time, doesn't he? Give me something, Phil. June 23rd has been confirmed as the day that Netflix will drop their new wrestling-based series, Glow, which will focus on the Glow women's wrestling promotion, which had its heyday back in the golden age, back in the mid-80s, mid to late sort of 80s. It stars Alison Brie. Oh my god. Oh god, calm down. Oh god. It stars Alison Brie. She is a mighty fine actress. She's fantastic at actressing. But she's also just lovely. She's wonderful. I think she's engaged or even married to Dave Franco. Dave Franco. He's not even the best Franco. Behind, well, I guess, James Franco and Spanish dictator Franco. Anyway, yes, it stars Alison Brie as sort of a down-on-her-luck actress who has to try and make it in the world of wrestling instead as an alternative. It'll also feature cameos, apparently, from former WWE superstars Alex Riley and Karma, better known perhaps as Awesome Kong over in TNA or Impact Wrestling. If we're talking about them in the past, do we still call them TNA? I'll work on that one. And finally, no takeaways. I've stopped doing takeaways this week. Right, because you know what it would have been? It would have been like, do you think Fastlane's going to be a good show? And you can still say in the comments if you want. You can say whatever you want. But no, this is going to be a new segment called, you ready? I hope you've got a nice title for it. Wrestler of the Week. It's my personal Wrestler of the Week. Christ, it's exciting. So who is my first ever Wrestler of the Week here on the Fast Count? Oh, it's La La Land, Oscar's joke, really good. I'm original, let's go. No, it's Saber Jr. So why is it Saber Jr? Well, as well as being one of the best technical wrestlers on the planet, this week, last weekend, which technically counts as this week because I'm doing these Friday to Friday, Zach beat Timothy Thatcher over in Evolve at Evolve 79 to become the new Evolve champion. So you might be thinking, yeah, he's won a title in an American indie promotion. Why is that such a big deal? Well, first of all, Timothy Thatcher's reign was bordering on, it was almost at 600 days, which is a mammoth reign, and Zach's brought that to an end, and it was a big raucous reception. Thatcher gets major heat as a heel. And secondly, it was a really good match. I've seen it rated from kind of generally around the 4 to 4.5 star rating, and of course, star ratings are entirely subjective, but when so many people are saying it was a great match, and in a week which was kind of thin on the ground in terms of really good matches, you know, I can't see any other person than Zack Sabre Jr. to give this to. There was also a really fun New Japan main event between Chaos and Bullet Club, but no one guy stood out. That was more of a collaborative effort. So this week, it goes to Zach. Who would you have liked to have seen? Let me know in the comments below. Do you miss takeaways? I don't really. I like this Wrestler of the Week thing. See how it goes. So that's all for now. I've been Jack from WhatCulture.com. Thank you very much for watching. This has been the Fast Count. Any thoughts, Phil?
No.
Yeah, no, of course not. We will see you soon.
Monday, March 6th, live from Newcastle, and free on YouTube. Drew Galloway will defend his WCPW Championship against the aerial assassin, Will Ospreay. And the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, will defend his WCPW Internet Championship. WCPW proudly presents Exit Wounds. Monday, March 6th, 7:30, 2:30 Eastern. Tickets still available at wc.pw.